So tonight we take a look, or rather we focus on the state of the IEBC in the country. The process began in just a month ago on the 24th of March, the year 2025, a process that saw over 100 candidates present their names for the position of commissioners and of course 11 for the position of chairperson of the IEBC. Well, that process ended on the 25th of April 2024, and of course now the team embarked on final process, which is a report writing, and they presented their final report to President William Ruto today for President to choose one name, one name out of two presented for the position of chairperson, and of course 6 names out of 9 presented for the commissioners. And of course this comes at the backdrop of a very heated debate from opposition, who accused ODM and UDA of interfering with the process to select a Ruto-friendly IEBC. And of course, to help us just chip in into this discussion and give in some weight is my guest tonight, Kennedy Ondiek, chairperson, or rather chairman, Progress Plus Alliance. Kennedy, thank you so much for making time. Kennedy, if you can unmute your mic. All right, so as we wait for Kennedy Ondiek to unmute his mic, remember this is a very important process. We have several constituencies and wards that have not yet have, that do not have their representative. This is as a result of the delayed process that has really derailed the by-elections and of course even the boundary and review, given the fact that this is a very important process that is carried out by IEBC. And now that we have now the final list, this is going to be a very important process in regard to the reconstitution of the IEBC. And the question is this the new era or a false dawn? And of course, my guest is none other than Kennedy Ondiek. He is chairman of Progress Plus Alliance. Ondiek, can you get me?
Yeah, I'm able to get you. How are you, brother? Good evening.
Good evening. It has been a while. How have you been?
I am doing well. We have been busy up and down, but I'm doing well. I'm available. Mm-hmm. And though busy left, right, and center, but we are doing our best.
All right. For the past 1 week, we have really witnessed a lot of political activities in the country, from President William Ruto's tour of Migori County, where the unfortunate actually happened. Then we had the Wamunyoro meeting, where the opposition leaders gathered together to chart a way forward with the aim of actually unseating President William Ruto in the next general election, the 2027 general election. But that aside, let's talk about something that has just developed recently. I'm talking about now the reconstitution of the IEBC. The selection panel presented the final report to President William Ruto today in State House, and of course now this will usher in a beginning of this reconstitution of the IEBC. When you look at the process from the selection of the panel itself until the interviews for the nominees for various positions, the chairperson and of course the commissioners, does it usher in some sort of a new hope, or it's just a false dawn?
Yeah, thank you, my brother. One, I have to say first, pole to the people of Kasipul constituency following the loss of their member of parliament, and I wish them the very best even now as they continue with the mourning period. At the same time, I also want to say, I think we'll get a little time to talk about the IEBC, because that is actually a very important, to talk about CDF, because I know that's a very important area that we must talk about as things are unfolding within the country. But let me start from where you have asked me to start from. That is the IEBC report that has been tabled to the president. First, we don't know who are actually listed in that particular list. And so we may not maybe quickly talk about who is actually nominated or otherwise recommended to be nominated by the president as per the law. But the truth of the matter is that the process was shrouded with numerous challenges. In fact, there's a lot of lack of disclosure of so much. And as a party, as you introduced, I am the chairman of Progress Plus Alliance. As a party, we had our reservations, and we wrote a letter to the IEBC panel, which I don't know whether they really even attended to, because they have not replied us. The only thing we have seen is to see them presenting a report. We were having several questions, a letter of which we can give you a copy. We were having several questions as to the process, lack of clarity in how it is conducted, and also how we are supposed to be briefed as a country, because there are individuals who are related to the persons inside the government. There are persons who have worked very closely with the president, and there are, inside that panel, there were persons who had questionable capacities, despite the fact that they were on that panel. In fact, some were even raised when an individual who is nominated to be the deputy governor is still serving there. That is, the deputy governor is still serving there. So there are so many questions which were raised, but I think what we need to agree on is that as a people, there are certain issues which were raised, and we are only waiting to know whether they are going to nominate who among those. Because the truth of the matter, there's a lot of questions which are not yet answered, which I believe the president is going to have a great duty of answering. So personally, on behalf of our party, Progress Plus Alliance, we are not contented with the process. We only wait to see who are going to be nominated, because ODM and UDA hijacked the process. ODM and UDA strictly hijacked the process, and they took over the process. And I can tell you for a fact that that is not going to be a very effective referee based on the questions and issues which are being raised on the process.
All right. And of course, for now, it's just a matter of wait and see who will be nominated by President William Ruto for the position of chairperson of the IEBC and the 6 commissioners. And this is really raised a very fundamental question in regard to the lack of trust. The Nandiko report was supposed to cure all this, the mistrust and, of course, lack of trust that we have had in the past. And both the parties who are actually lamenting about this, the lack of trust between the selection panel, is the same very leaders who took part in this process. Now that they are raising concerns in regard to this, the entire process, claiming that the ODM and of course the UDA hijacked the process in regard just to with the final outcome that is will give birth to a Ruto-favored candidate. Well, this some sort of lack of trust from the referees, and of course in this regard now the selection panel, which was yet again constituted by the same parties. Now the process began, and now there is some issues that are emerging as a result. Well, where does it leave us as a country now that we are heading in a very critical phase in our electioneering period? We have some sort of by-elections in between. We have a general election to prepare for. The mistrust between the key players, where does it leave us as a country, Ondiek?
Yeah, what I can tell you is that, one, we are worried about the commission being established simply because of 2 things. Number one, it started immediately. They formed this, their bread-based government. They call it broad-based, whether bread-based, whatever it is. Immediately they had it. And number 2, we have reasons to believe as a party and even as opposition that there are a group of individuals who we are not supposed just to mention them by names, but they are very having close proximity to the persons in government, whether the president himself or the opposition leader, that's Raila Odinga. And I know that is why Raila and his team are still waiting inside government, because they want to ensure that a referee who is going to be there is the one they favoring them. Then they will bolt out of that thing called broad-based government, because basically you can see from the body language, half of the team is inside broad-based government, half of the team is outside broad-based government, and Raila himself is in the middle. He doesn't know whether it's in broad-based government or he's not. So you realize that we are worried about the persons, because we know those individuals. In fact, I will send you our letter, which we sent, talking about the names, and then you will compare the list that is going to come out. I want to tell you, you will verify and realize that we are very right as to the worries and the fears we have. We have 7 people. We have a group of 7 they have selected, who I know. After this show, I'm going to send you our letter, and then you are going to know, and then compare it to the actual list that is going to be taken to Parliament. It is actually that one. You'll know that it's actually that one. And if it will miss by 2 or 3 names. But watch the space. Starting from the chairman, I'm going to tell you who in that letter, not for this concern, for the public consumption, because they have chosen to proceed the way they want, and as a party and as the opposition, and the people who are in opposition as well have showed fear. We have expressed fear, because this referee who is going to be there is not going to be that referee who is going to be very free. Is actually affiliated to a party. You saw the past IEBC when we had some commissioners who were affiliated to Azimio and some commissioners who were affiliated to Kenya Kwanza. There was a division from the seven of them. So we had 4, Cherera 4, and the Chebukati 3 remaining the other side. So okay. I want to tell you for a fact that the role of IEBC is supposed to be an umpire in a game that is supposed to be played among the competitors. But what is going on is clear that the one team which is actually UDA, ODM, hijacked the process, and they have selected the referee. They are going to select the linesmen. They are also going to select the technical officers. In fact, they have already selected the linesmen, 4th officials, together with the referee in the field.
Okay,
so basically that is a UDA, ODM process. Mm-hmm. It is not for all of us.
Do you care to share the details about, of course you say the details, you have the details that you'll be sharing, but now that you have the platform, do you care telling us about the predetermined referees in regard to what, as we wait to see the final outcome?
We wrote the letter, and as a media house, I am going to share you the letter. It is not for public consumption, but you will compare and contrast, because it's a letter which we sent to the selection panel. We didn't have a duty to sending it to the public. But the reason why I'm telling you that is we have fears. We suspect and we know that there are individuals who they have pre-selected. And there were 13, I can tell you, but now they are going to select only the very few that they are going to nominate. From the list I'm going to share to you, realize that they are almost 4 or 5 going to be part of the 7 going to be sent to Parliament for vetting. I am not telling you the truth. So when you saw Kalonzo and the rest talking, the truth is that there is a lot of machination. There's a lot of lobbying which they have done among between the two of them, not among the players. Because you see, we have something called inter-parties group there that is called IEPPG, which should have been constituted to do that. But you see, they decided to take it. The reason why they delayed was there was problem with Wiper as to selecting who is supposed to be representing Wiper in that panel. But at the end, they hijacked the process. They took it over. They did it by themselves.
All right. And in the event that, let's say, your letter actually proved to be right, so what's the next course of action for you guys? What are you planning after this?
The course of action always arises out of an action. So once the president does nominate, as per what we suspected, as per what we feared, we are only waiting for them to act. Because you see, you cannot act before somebody has acted in an omission or a commission of an error. So we have no powers to currently go and have a legal recourse, because we have not had the damage yet. But immediately we have the damage, which we will also compare based on our prior suspicion. You will realize that we are actually justified to go and seek legal redress. And we are having a capacity to even go to court to stop the swearing in of those individuals, because we raised legitimate questions on them, and that questions which we sent to the panel. So if they didn't consider it, then the courts will consider it.
All right.